I'm now going to turn with regret. I know, comrades, this won't come as news to you, but regret that we've had a very short message from the comrades in talking about socialism, saying they're withdrawing from the forging communist unity talks. We consider that unfortunate. We consider it unfortunate that we've just had a two-line message saying nothing more, nothing about why. We've had no direct communication. We were due a face-to-face, or shall we put it like a face-to-face Zoom meeting, the resumption of our talks on July the 6th. We were told that the comrades had stepped back to draft a program. Good. We said it's good that the comrades are taking programs seriously. Apparently, they've drafted two programs now. First edition, which was something like 2,500 words, and the second version is now up to 5,000. Now, I'm told, and you know, maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I'm told that the comrades in TAS themselves were presented with this draft program as a take it or leave it exercise, that you can either vote for it, but you can't amend it. A completely different approach compared with what we've adopted. I mean, if you take us in the CPGB, or what calls itself the CPGB, what began as the Leninist, we began with a thorough critique and study of program. We studied the Gotha program, we studied the Erfurt program, we studied the Communist Manifesto, we studied and critiqued the British Road to Socialism, the program of official communism. We studied and critiqued, you know, Peter Taft's programmatic pamphlet, Militant, What We Stand For. We studied and critiqued the Euro communists and their manifesto for the future. We looked at the RSDLP program. We looked at, you know, what program was for. We wrote articles about it. And when we came to drafting our own program, you know, we had seminars week after week. We had special groups drawing up proposals. We had amendments. And indeed, if you look at our draft program, it's been amended, sometimes on a minor basis, sometimes more substantially. But of course, it's open to amendment. And we're told by some comrades, at least, that we were somehow presenting, you know, forging communist unity with some sort of ultimatum. All we've insisted on is that, well, at least our program should be tabled. But again, we insist on it, not as an ultimatum, but we should say that that would be put to a vote at a conference. That's all. So we would move at a unity conference. Here's our contribution. We've debated it. Here's what we think. And if the TAS comrades wanted to put forward their draft program as a contribution, okay, now what a conference would decide which one to debate. Maybe they would debate both. Maybe they would put it off. I don't know. But we were hardly presenting the comrades with an ultimatum. What we said is that we would expect to be in a majority. Yeah, perhaps. But also we would expect to be in a majority through persuading people. But yeah, we were open to amendments. We were open to being defeated. We were open to being in a minority. And we said, well, you know, if we find ourselves in a minority, so be it. If it's a matter of principle, we might consider forming ourselves into a minority faction. Okay. But no, we've not presented anyone with a take it or leave it. We've not presented anyone with an ultimatum. You have to have our program and no other. Quite the opposite. So why have the comrades withdrawn? I don't know. That's the genuine answer. We were told last time we met, we were told that we would be reconvening. The comrades did write to us, yes, and say that their involvement would be put on hold for a number of weeks while they went away and drafted and debated a program. So yeah, our next meeting, as I said before, was due on July the 6th. I don't know. I've not read their drafts. I've only looked at the first draft, which is, well, as I said, 2,000-ish words. The second draft, as I understand it, haven't had a time to look at it, is twice the size. But again, I can't. Maybe what they produced is embarrassing. I don't know. I don't know. What I would say, though, is that because of looking at the prospect of a unity, some sort of unity conference, I think that what's gone on with the comrades in TAS is, this is again an outsider's impression. Again, I could be wrong. I think there's been a recruiting of members, some of them good, some of them definitely up for unity with the CPGB, others, on the other hand, implacable opponents. And I do find it very strange if you're engaged in a unity process, forging communist unity, and you've got Prometheus on the one side, CPGB on the other, you're actually letting into your organization people who are bitterly opposed to unity with the CPGB. In the CPGB, I'm not giving away any secrets here, we've actually put a hold on comrades joining the organization. We've not had a situation where we're simply saying recruit in order to get members, and so we have a majority at some unity conference. Indeed, what we've stressed is that we would dissolve any discipline over our members at such a conference, that we wouldn't have block votes or binding instructions, quite the opposite. So we haven't been engaged in that. So I sort of understand why, but maybe you've got this syndrome of leaders following their followers, if you see my point. In other words, that you've recruited people who don't want unity with the CPGB and you end up following them, but that's just speculation. What I would say is this, if I'm right, this approach of take it or leave it, which has been adopted, so I'm told, with the draft program of TAS, remember, for a Communist Party. This is something that Nick Rack did in 2014. I don't think it's the right approach, Nick. I don't think that's going to work. We've got to, if we're going to go forward, we've got to be in a situation where we're prepared to be in a minority. And of course, being in a minority is much more difficult than being in a majority. It's much more comfortable being in a majority. But if we don't have a position of where we are prepared to be in a minority, we can have no chance of success. And so pulling out from these discussions, I think, is highly regrettable. It will send out the wrong message to the left. The comrades say that they will pursue other organizations for unity. I think it'd be great if others joined TAS who are committed, genuinely committed to a communist party in Great Britain. We would certainly, in that case, be knocking on the door of the comrades. And certainly what I can say is that our door is open. And we would expect a good debate with the comrades. The comrades are booked for the forthcoming Communist University. We will look to Communist University to debate out our differences, and we'll see how fundamental our differences are. We'll see if all the CPGB has been doing is lying, acting in a dishonorable, dishonest fashion. I mean, I've heard some nonsense, and I'm not going to prolong it any further. But we've heard, for example, some stories going around that the CPGB is demanding money off TAS for Communist University, that somehow we're viewing Communist University as a way to make money. I can assure comrades, it's the exact opposite. Communist University is very heavily subsidized. And then the communists did actually ask how much should they give towards it. And we said, well, it's up to you. We said, here's the bills that we're being charged. Here's what we're charging. If you want to donate any money, it will be very welcome, because we've got this tripartite arrangement with speakers from Prometheus, speakers from TAS, speakers from the CPGB. If you want to donate money, fair enough. But no, anyway, we regret it. We will have, a statement from the PCC, but the door is open. We haven't finished the debate. We've not said that we don't want to talk to TAS. We want to continue talking to the comrades from TAS, and we'd certainly appeal to the minority in TAS to get themselves organized, not to split from TAS, but to carry on the struggle that we need to talk. And okay, but we not only need to talk the talk, do we? We also need, when it comes to communist unity, we need to walk the walk. So the name Talking About Socialism is a very good one. We want to talk about socialism, but we also want to walk towards unity. And that has to be on the basis of majorities and minorities. We can't have a situation of where minorities exercise a veto. That wouldn't be the right way forward. First of all, on forging communist unity, of course, it's always good to be self-critical and look at what you should have done differently. But for the life of me, if I actually put my hand on heart, in spite of my great respect for Moshe, I, in all honesty, I don't think that I've been guilty of, at least in my own head, a ferocious polemic. I think what I've done is give as good as I take, so to speak. And I think the same is true with Mike McNair. I mean, if we take this question of Pol Pot, I mean, I'm certainly not, I haven't been accusing either Ed or Nick of wanting to exterminate a third of the population and impose some sort of rural nightmare. But what I have done is precisely to say, look, if you are serious about forcibly expropriating the middle classes, and if you're serious, and I read their first draft program, that socialism in isolation in a country like Britain would be a point of attraction, then you're kidding yourself. And that was the context I used, the example of Pol Pot or war communism, starvation, and all the rest of it. And quite frankly, if you get into he said this, she said that, and that's the reason I don't want to go into communist unity with you. I don't think our project is going to get very far, because the point would be that the first harsh words or the first criticism that would be raised becomes then the excuse not to go into unity. The reality is that what we're talking about isn't ferocious polemics, which I just think that's just life. It's actually the fear of being in a minority. That's my assessment. And so therefore you could say that the lesson that we draw is don't be in a majority. Well, then I think then you're giving up politics. I'm sorry. But if you're in politics and you believe, for example, we've just had, well, I will be coming in on the question of war and peace, and do we defend weak peoples or weak countries against the strong? I would argue yes, and I'd fight to become a majority in that, and I don't apologize for that. To me, that's just basic politics. If I found myself in a minority, I'd be fighting to become the majority. And okay, fighting, it's an aggressive word, but we're not talking about taking up arms inside an organization. We're talking about using argument and then winning a vote. Well, I don't know how we're going to proceed any other way. And we've got to persuade the left that they need to, fight to become a majority, accept being in a minority. And that is the only way forward I know that's worthwhile. Because if we had a situation where we began by saying the CPGB might be in the majority, but when it comes, for example, I'm just giving this as an example, or maybe as a hypothetical, when it comes to Iran, we're not going to defend Iran because our minority might not like it or doesn't like it. Well, I think that is unacceptable. That is unprincipled. Okay, let me see. Okay, I would also go along with Tina and also Mike Belbin, comrades. If you've got the time, is it 7:30? This TAS meeting, go along. My understanding, and Chris Strafford will have to correct me if I'm wrong, and he's already corrected me, which is very useful, Chris. Thanks very much. My understanding is that these meetings are conducted on the basis that you get 3 minutes if you're a non-table speaker or whatever you want to call it. I don't think we would have much opportunity in that context. But yes, the door is open. We want to continue discussion. The last discussion, all the discussions. I mean, the only person here, well, the two comrades here that can confirm it, and that's Yasmin, who's attended the last meetings, Mike, who's attended most of them. All the meetings we've had have been conducted in a comradely, civilized, polite, friendly fashion. I don't think there's any. I don't think I'm saying anything. You'd expect it with us, and that's just the truth of it. So we haven't had a big falling out. We haven't been swearing at each other, shouting at each other. We've disagreed, and the message that we've put forward in the CPGB is we need to keep talking. And we put forward the idea of patience. Comrade Cat from Prometheus has been saying we're going too slow. We've been saying we have to go at the pace that we have to go at. And so we've been, let's keep it going. The comrades want to raise an alternative program. Fine. We'll wait for them. We were looking forward to the 6th of July and reading their document. So that's where we've been at. Okay, common work. Yeah, I read your proposals, Chris. I mean, we haven't sort of sat down because we've been talking with Nick and Ed. I would presume that they would come up on July the 6th if we were meeting, and we would certainly welcome such an approach, that we don't just want to talk to each other. We also want to work together. Maybe we could find some sort of common platform, let's hope, in this Corbyn project, if it allows the space. That would be positive. We should be working together when it comes to building Communist University. So on the demonstrations, on Palestine, we've had leaflets that comrades could give out, that would have been a positive thing, and it's still there to be built. We haven't been told that the comrades are withdrawing from Communist University. We haven't been told that the comrades won't be speaking. So we're taking it until we're told otherwise, that Comrade Ed and Comrade Nick will be speaking at Communist University. So I welcome them to Communist University. If they came to Communist University and they wanted to shoot me down because I'm constantly accusing them of wanting to exterminate a third of the population, okay, but I wouldn't be swearing at them. I wouldn't be shouting at them. I'd simply be debating with them, and we would welcome such a debate, and we would welcome comrades who are implacable opponents of the CPGB along to Communist University. Why not? We don't fear a debate. We'd welcome the debate. Yeah, I mean, just in terms of what Anne said, yeah, my take on it was that when I went to that meeting that Tina and Ian called with Y Marks, and I've said it, I don't know how many times, but I went along very reluctantly. Oh my God, we're going to be talking about joint set. Well, okay, fair enough, but I was I drew the short straw on that one, and then I heard Nick say that we're not particularly interested in following, what was it, the mug syllabus for new members or something along those lines that had been proposed. We want to talk about fusion. And yeah, I came back both to the PCC and to the membership and said, great, that's a really positive development. And yeah, we should overcome our prejudices from, if you are old enough, with Comrade Nick. I mean, I've got nothing against Nick. I view him as a friend, as a comrade. But yeah, we have had ships meeting in the past, and it didn't come off well. But let's forget about that. Let's go with the future, and we've given it our best. So Communist University meetings every 2 weeks, face-to-faces in Manchester and London. We're glad that the comrades have taken programs seriously and drawn up their own. I'm glad that they've looked at the CPGB program. We still haven't had really any criticism of our draft program. We haven't heard, Moshe, I haven't heard that the comrades have said it's too perfect. They have said it's too long, and I do note that their own program has suddenly grown by a factor of, I don't know, is it 100%, 100%, yeah, or maybe more than that. But either way, that they're looking at program, and they're looking at the CPGB program, and that's got its own positivity. I agree with Chris that we will pay a price here, and I agree with Andy that look at the necessity. And my hope is that comrades in RS21 won't be put off by this temporary setback, and comrades in Prometheus won't be put off, and that the minority in TAS becomes the majority. That's my hope. Okay, we're dealing with tiny numbers, we're all aware of that, but we do believe that to forge a genuine Communist Party, it will take large numbers of the existing left coming to those sort of conclusions. At the moment, the signs of that are tiny, but there are signs of that. And that's why, the present period, although it's disappointing, I think it will be repeated.